Going on, everybody? It's JacobViral. I'm back for part 3 of my long series of subwoofer box build videos of my wall build I'm working on. If you haven't seen the others, go ahead and check those out before watching this. That way there's no spoilers. As well as let me know you like this. Hit the like button and welcome to my channel, JacobViral. I do a lot of daily videos and this is something new I'm enjoying to share with y'all. So let's get started. First thing I want to say is welcome. So part 3, you have to watch other parts to see the others, to see how I am at right now. But currently, got this side complete. I finished up the top here to optimize my space using 2x6s. And then I just structured the left side just a little bit, and I wanted to get this part of the series started, so I make sure I dive into the video on every sequence part. Don't miss anything, and make sure y'all know everything I do as far as how I got to where I am. So let me go ahead and run down with you real quick how I did that. So for this end, it's a little bit more critique because this is where my port's going to be on the driver's side. I want to do a driver port over the center, and I can talk to you more about that later on what's the difference and why, but that's not what this video is for. So structure in this side was very important for me to make sure I got as close to this end as possible, because the farther your port is on the driver end, the louder it'll be on the passenger end, as well as on the meter, and just a louder demo for the passenger. That's the main reason why I like center or driver port. But anyway, I'm not going to break into that. So I got my first structure down here, 2x6s, and then I use the Craig jig on both ends. I'll show you my tools as well in a minute for part 3. You can see that. Some of you guys are wanting to see the tools I use. So got my first layer here. So this will be where the front of my box will be for the wall. And then of course I can put a birch layer just like I have here. I'll be able to put a birch layer across that as well as across this end. So ultimately that's how that end is going to be on this end when it's done. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to see the results of that, as well as I'll be working on the back end in this video, so stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't, welcome. And let's go ahead and show you some of the tools. So I got a tape measure, use my drill, use a 1 5/8, 2-inch and 2.5-inch screws for my 3 screw types I use. All this I get at Home Depot. Not the best, I'm sure there's other ways, but that's what I use. Use a jack, my broken crowbar, and old hammer I've had for years. Another one I use is DeWalt tools, all the different kit sets. Sometimes I'll use this, I don't know what it's called, but maybe y'all can help me. I'll use that for like up here when I forgot to put in the Craig jigs. I can't do a Craig jig afterward. And then I'll show you over here, I have a notebook I'll use for notes, hearing aid protection. This is my Craig jig I use for everything that I do all my Craigs with, so I'm able to zip in with the drill. Uno dos, as many times as I need for that. My parallel safety goggles, my other 45 that I use for tools, and then my old raggedy. I use my saw and my jigsaw, circular saw, and then so that's about all I use for my tools to make this happen. I don't use a bandsaw or any other tools. Of course, there's other little small tools I'll use, but that's the majority of it to make this happen. So, and just my skills and craftsman. Go ahead and hit the like button. Let me know if you like this, as well as stay tuned in this video. I'm going to dig in a little farther and give you all another build update in just a minute here. And I'm back. Got both panels 100% done now. Definitely is starting to look a lot different in here. Holy smokes. And it's going to be a lot different look even more when I finish up by the end of this part of this video series for y'all. Let me know what y'all think. So it's not exactly mirrored, but very close. And you can kind of start seeing where the loading wall is here, just the start of it. I can start adding and shrinking that. Ignore the bracings and some of the stuff that doesn't look finished yet, or it looks ugly. I still got a lot of work, but got all the 2x6s mounted up here on this end, just like that end. And that's where it's looking like so far. So next step you'll see in a minute is I'm going to go ahead and do the panels on both sides with the birch. So that way this is going to be right here as well, and I can show you all the finishing touch on that. And so stay tuned for that. Before that, let me just show you one more example of what I struggled with. Anybody that is working on wall builds, trying optimal space. So I wanted to make sure I didn't go upright all the way up to the top, so I really struggled with getting this panel as far back as I could. And what I did was I went up to the height restraint as far as I could before I had to detour up. And every vehicle cabin is different, but for the Explorer I have, it starts detouring upward around right here at this point. But since I'm offset about 2.5 inches from the edge, I was able to go a little bit higher. So depending on how far your offset is, here, I'll show you over here, since you haven't seen this side, how far your offset length is here. See, that's where it touched off on the corner and the back end. So, and the drill is a little bit harder to screw as I got higher up, so I made it work with what I got. But there we go. Hole. Excuse me. But there we go. Stay tuned in this. To end this part series, I'll go on and show y'all once I finish installing the side panel birch wood on both sides. So, gonna have this side and this side done right now. Both sides complete. Birch on the left and the right. I got my I think it was around 40 degrees panels on both ends to optimize my space, and got all my screws in. So there you go. I took the pole out here too, so you can kind of see a glimpse of how it looks at a 1/2x zoom out mode on the camera. So hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. And I got some stuff to talk about before I end this part of my build series for my wall build. So been working on this. I try to give y'all timestamps of how long it took. So it took me about 2.5 hours to do this side here. And then this side took me about 3 hours. So 3 hours to do this side and 2.5 on this side, because I had a little bit of rhythm to get it done on the second side. Started with the passenger side first. So definitely looking good. Happy with everything so far. The one thing I'm not happy with is the way I kind of did this. I could have done a little better, but you won't see it by the time I'm done with everything. But I had to cut around into the area where my wheel cabin area is, so I have to make sure I close that off. So that's going to be something that I'm working on too off camera, and you'll see how I did that once I get my brain moving and get everything rolling for that. That's how it's looking right now. So definitely really nice to see. And as far as how far back my wall is going to go, it's going to be right here. So that's why I got my depth here. So that gives me enough room for my amp rack to be right here in this area. Sorry about the mess. I've been working on this truck, so not worried about cleaning it up right now. But that's where it's at right now with the amp rack. So the amp rack's going to give me enough space here. So it's looking like, if I, one second, let me set my camera down. I'm going to grab this real quick. I'll grab this just so y'all can see how much space I have for an amp rack on camera. So I'm touched off here on camera. It looks like it's going to be right at 12, 13 foot of room to work with. Perfect, enough to fit my amp. So I'm going to be putting my 6,000 watt crescendo amp in here, and you'll find out soon what cone area that I'll be running as well. So definitely be exciting to see that. So in the next part you'll see soon. Stay tuned for that. So I'll go ahead and give you a couple more little things that I've done on camera I can explain, and then I'll let y'all go for the day, and y'all stay tuned for the next part for this series build for my wall build. So once again, this is JacobViral. Like this video if y'all enjoy this kind of content. Subscribe if you haven't, and let's go ahead and let me show y'all the rest. So let me get back to the door, show y'all how the door looks afterward. So the little peekaboo holes are blocked off now, but that's just so my door handle can fit in there, even though this will be another project as well, sealing this off. Right now that's the focus. So it looks a lot more uniform. You don't see the light come through like you did before, because of course it's screwed in. And oh, looks like I got one screw I messed up on out of all of them. Oh well, that happens. But looks really good. And I'm talking solid. And this is before I even add the, I'm gonna be adding a brace, multiple braces in the box once I get everything in. So it's definitely gonna be solid when it's done. And this isn't steel cage, this is just 2x4s, 2x6s. And then underneath you can see how much space I use. This is just a single baffle of wood. So could have done double baffle, but guess what? I want optimal space as far as how many cubes I can fit in my enclosure. So I'll be talking about that as well in the next show, next part for y'all to see how much cube space I got. And that's where I'm going to be brainstorming and letting y'all know the results for cone control, how much subwoofer cones I'm going to have, just the amount, quantity, and size. So that's that on that end. And then the same I'll show you on this end so you can see. A little blurry, there we go. Nice and solid all the way down. This gives me enough room, just enough room for me to be able to fit all my wires that I want to run, like my RCAs, my base knob, my blue wire, turn on wire, power wire, voltage meter wires, speaker wire, etc. So all of that there. I might even be able to fit my amplifier here, not my small channel amplifier I might put here, but the sun will be hitting through this, so I probably won't do that. So, but definitely pretty nice to see. The peekaboo you can see here. The difference, listen to this. So the difference in sound output, you go from 3/4 inch birch to over 2 inches of wood, and that's a big difference in solidified density. So it's pretty important for me to have a well-built box, even though I'm going to be going on low power for this wall. So staying with the 6,000 watt amp, most likely going to be a configuration of 4 subs, 4 or 6, but you'll stay tuned for that in the next video to find out what amount of subwoofer quantity I have, as well as, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I was going to show you all the back end of this, but there's just so much stuff I need to show y'all as I go through these steps that I don't want to work on the back end yet until after the next video or so. We'll see you then. JacobViral out. What's going on, everybody? This is JacobViral, ending this video to say thank you for watching my videos. Every single day I have a daily cardio video I upload. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and I'll see you tomorrow.